Okay, so I'm back on the Les Paul here, and I was using the bridge pickup, a little bit of overdrive, and a little bit of delay on the playing example. This particular groove is over a G major chord, going down to an F major chord, and alternating measures with that. And essentially that's kind of a G mixolydian chord progression, although we're using a bit of, G major and minor pentatonic here. All right. I'm using the fingers of my picking hand rather than using a pick for this one because I'm trying to emulate those slide moves that Derek Trucks does. And I find that for me, this works out a little bit better, although using a pick is fine too. Okay, so we'll start out with a bend at the 10th fret on the B string. And we're actually going to slide into that from down low on the neck. Really not any specific fret, but we'll just slide in from below. Add some shake on that. Now the thing that I want you to keep in mind is that with me, I'm using my index finger on my picking hand, and I'm keeping that parallel to the string. So it's a little unconventional, but I find it works for me, and it's a little bit less articulated compared to a conventional technique. So for instance, it's kind of hard to even hear that I plucked the string there. Whereas if I played it conventionally, it's a little more percussive. All right? So food for thought. Bending that, spilling it down to the 8th fret, bending at the 11th fret. Then we have that bend at the 10th fret again. Slide down to 8, and then down to 5. I do articulate this note at the 8th fret. Again, trying to emulate a slide here. From there, we have a bend at the 6th fret on the B string. I do that same move where I slide into it, got the finger parallel to the string. You don't have to do this, but this is just the way that I do it. Nice little blues lick there. We're basically bending the note F, spilling it down, D, then we've got C at the 5th fret on the G string, going down to B flat at the 3rd fret on the G string. Then we go to the note G, and then we hit the note D. And I kind of let these ring together a bit, just like you would have a slide going on there. Okay, from there, got a nice single string slide lick. 5th fret, 7th, 8 to 7 quick, back to 5, and then we end up on the note E at the 2nd fret. So that's that entire phrase. Okay, so I'm bending at the 5th fret on the G string, kind of pulling it in and out of tune a little bit. We've got some inflections there. Kind of resolving down to quarter tones, putting it back in tune, and then resolving it down to the 3rd fret. And that's definitely pulled out of tune there. From there, got a big bend at the 8th fret, and again, I'm using that same technique with my picking hand, trying to hide the fact that I'm plucking the note. Coming back down to this position. Then we have a really fun lick coming up next, and this is based out of the dominant pentatonic scale. And I'm starting at the 5th fret on the A string, hammering that to the 8th fret, and I'm hammering from 5 to 9 on the D string. 5 to 7 on the G string, and then we have 6, 8 on the B string. We got 6th fret on the high E string, bending at the 9th fret, a half step. We got a slick little move there. You could actually spill that down, hit that bend at the 9th fret, and then play the note at the 8th fret on the high E string. 6, And again, another one of those slick little bend moves there. So 6, this is a pre-bend at 8, slightly out of tune at 6, and then we end up at the 8th fret on the note G. That's the whole thing. There's some tricky stuff in here, I know, but if you can get it together, the payoff is huge, because this faux slide stuff really, it sounds killer, especially over this type of groove. So let me recap the whole thing for you here and, just play it all together. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 1. One. There you go. That's pretty close to what I played earlier. Got some slight differences in inflections and nuance here, but that's cool too. Again, we're trying to sound like a slide, at least as close as we can. Got some unconventional techniques here. I'm using some weird stuff with the picking hand. I know you don't necessarily have to do it this way. This is just how I do it, but it seems to work. And hopefully you can find what works for you. Have fun.